Hey everybody, Dr. Mary Renzel here, talking about 3 steps we can take to stop feeling like toast. Oh, medicine is so hard right now, and people are suffering. And there's a lot of what I'm learning about is called moral injury and moral distress. So I, kind of dug into the neuroscience, and we're going to talk about how we can dig our way personally, at least, out of how to stop feeling like toast. Right? Let's do this. Okay, it's time. So what do we mean by toast? Oh my gosh, we're tired, we're overwhelmed, we're exhausted, or hungry, you're lonely, you're thirsty, you're crispy, you're cooked. You don't feel seen and heard or really validated within medicine. Sometimes people are working in areas where you just feel like you're talking to a wall, right? You just don't feel like people are really seeing you as a human who's taking your own personal risks working in medicine. So that's what we refer to as toast, right? It's not funny. It's really a serious thing. And, I just want to give you a few tools, long lasting tools, and some solutions that you can use today. I want to think of it like a hammock. Like, what if we could build, excuse me, a support system that just supported us in, and we could just sit in and, be like on the beach on a hammock, right? What if we could just hit the reset button and start over? And give our brain a reset, give it a support system like a hammock of support, right? So we're going to talk about the 3 steps that we can take today, this week, to stop feeling like toast, right? Number 1, we can treat our brain like a puppy. We can really think about, like, what does it need? We need to water it and feed it and let it move and rest it. We would never, talk to a puppy like, I'm going to take care of you next week, So, we can connect with a friend. We can say, hey, I really want to chat with you. Can we meet for coffee or tea, a walk, more than a text? Okay. So this is a commitment to do more than a text with a friend this week. And then what about emotions? What do they have to do with any of this? Well, they have a lot to do with all of this, right? So we're going to talk about how the brain, our emotions come from the brain, but we feel them in the body. And they are our gateway to our peace, our big ideas, our perceptions. So we're going to talk about their power, right? So busy women, I work in medicine, so I'll mostly talk about busy women in medicine, but busy women everywhere, we're trying a lot of things. We've tried a lot of solutions, but we really need some long lasting solutions to start today, something that can really work. I see you, I hear that you're really trying, you're doing so much, you're caring for so many people, you're helping the community. I hear you, you're still feeling like toast some days though. And that's why we're here. Please, this is educational. So if you need a therapist, a psychiatrist, absolutely, I hope you're seeing your primary doctor. I mean, these are things that absolutely have to be done. What we're going to talk about today is to talk about solutions that we ourselves can do day to day. But please, get a professional. This is not medical advice in any way. This is strictly educational. So I want to welcome you. Thank you for taking your time. I appreciate that. You're sharing your time with me. Your time is incredibly valuable. There's so much going on in the world today, and especially in medicine and for busy women. So I formed a company called Brain Fresh to support busy women so they can, you can tap into your neuroscience powers and kind of partner with them so you can learn how to support what you have. Our brain is kind of stuck up there. We have to take care of it, but it makes us who we are. It gives us big ideas. Lets us be able to help our community, our families, our friends, to change the world, right? So why don't we partner with it, learn about it, learn how to support it, right? So let's do that. So today is here for you. You're the helper, the creative one. You're accomplished. You've done so many things. You're a builder. You want to keep going. But some days you feel like toast, right? What if you felt just supported? Like you could just be on this woman on a hammock. You can learn. You're good. You have time. You took care of yourself. You feel supported. You feel like you're in that comfy hammock, getting the fresh breeze. What if we felt like that? But in medicine today, it's busy. It's high stress. We don't have a lot of control over a lot of our work schedule, our work issues. We have a lot of hours of work. There's a lot of gender issues. There's gender discrimination. This information comes from a survey of neurologists. That's my background. 35% were not satisfied or kind of neutral about their job. They weren't feeling, really enthused about it. 42% had symptoms of burnout. That's a lot of burnout, so that's meaning like I'm not emotionally connecting with folks that are across from me in my day. And then 56% felt like they really didn't have time to do their work, the works they were being asked to do. So, those are not good stats. Those are very concerning stats. What if we had a plan today that we could not feel like we have our no toast plan, right? So no more toast. What if, again, we could just acknowledge and partner with our neuroscience powers? If we understood it, understood what we could do day to day to support that amazing brain of yours, like with a hammock of care, right? What if we just kind of reset for a minute? So here's what we're going to learn today. You can empower those internal powers. You can kind of turn them on and partner with them for some brain love and support it like a hammock around it, right? Emotions come from the brain. So if we want to emotionally feel any different, we have to know something about how to support our brain, right? We could wait for things to change around us, but we have some power inside of us. So that's what we want to do today, is just not wait for people to see us or value us or notice that we're feeling so tired. We want to just do it today. We want to figure out what we need and how to support ourselves today. I have a framework I call Synapse, and we'll go over that so that you can connect with your own internal powers and you can empower them, turn them up, to tune them up, to reset for more creativity, more confidence, more clarity. Where should I put my time and energy? I mean, it's valuable. I want to know what I'm doing today matters and that I'm making decisions today with my time that matter, right? So one brain hack I can teach you right now is when you're trying to think of something, think of what's going well. Okay, so I'm going to take a sip of coffee while you work on this. Look at my new mug. Isn't it gorgeous? I ordered it from a doc who makes these stuff on Etsy. It's so cool. DM me if you want her name. So go ahead, write down. So if you don't have a piece of paper, grab one and a pen or pencil. So what's going well for you today? What do you got? Huh? The reason we start with what's going well, it turns on certain areas of our brain. It settles down our fear area of our brain, and it brings up the front part of the brain that helps us get our big ideas. So we want to turn that area on, and we turn that on when we think of safety and things going well, the good things, right? So in order to even have some new ideas of how we could potentially add some support system to our brain, add that hammock of care for our brain, we have to think about today, what's going well. Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, you're tuning in, you're listening, you're here for new ideas, you're here for some long-lasting solutions. So you can put that one down if you're stuck. But whatever you did today for yourself or what is going well, that's a good place to start. So if you're coaching someone or you're working with someone and you're wondering how to get the ball rolling and how to, help them calm down, even if you're a parent or a child and you want to connect with someone and you want to start a conversation, you could start here. Because when you get someone thinking about what's going well, it's really great to see what happens. I mean, they share things with you that I've been doing this with my patients. It's been really awesome. I've heard amazing things. My patients have things in art galleries I never knew about. They tell me what's going well with their family, what's going well with their kids, with their businesses. It's been really neat to hear. So does this sound like you? Are you accomplished at a high level? But do you feel stressed still? Are you hoping for more joy and creativity, but you feel stuck? Do you want some clarity? Like, what should I do next? I want some next steps. I want a couple next steps so I have a clear plan. Do you feel valued? Do you feel valued for who you are, for the strengths that you bring where you work or at home? Have you not found anyone else who has given you a specific path that makes sense for you and that's easy and doable and something we can automate? That's the other part we talk about neuroscience, how to automate things, how to look at our strategies, how to reset, how to reset, how to reassess them and keep resetting and changing, right? Because we have a growth mindset means we look at things like we're not done. We can keep going. We can look at this in a new way. We're not cooked, although some of us feel like toast, right? So some of us feel like we are kind of cooked. So I'm going to give you a few steps to kind of get out of that feeling. Would you love a clear plan of what to do to keep life interesting? You went to med school, you went to grad school, you got your PhD, but you still feel stuck and busy. You went to all that school, but you're just not really feeling peaceful right now. So toast, what do I mean by toast? Again, it's that tired, that overwhelmed, that I'm just hungry, I'm angry, I'm lonely, I'm tired. I don't feel heard or seen. I don't feel like people really know me or feel like, they know the value I bring. They don't know my values. They don't know the strengths I bring and the ideas I have. If you're feeling like that at work, some people will say, that's toast. I feel toast. Would you love some guidance? The next steps, just a couple steps, not too much. We don't want to overwhelm, right? We don't want new overwhelm. So what is the problem? Well, we could say there's no problem, but just the situation is there's no brain class for busy, growing professionals. We don't learn, A, B, and C's of how to partner with our neuroscience. And we don't learn to connect with our emotions because they're the gatekeepers of our ideas, our creativity. We don't tend to learn how to connect to those powers unless there's a problem, right? So why wait till there is a problem till we say, oh, maybe we are burned out? I don't know. Like everyone talks about burnout. Maybe I'm there. I feel kind of like toast, so maybe I'm there. So this is what we're going to talk about today. Let's talk about long-lasting solutions. I mean, quick things are fine, but what about putting some things into place today that really have some long-lasting power? I'm all about that. I'm all about efficiency, right? So what if we learned how to just partner with our neural powers for more creativity, to clarify where to put our neural strengths for more confidence, and how to launch our neuroplasticity, that part of our brain that's always lifelong learners, for more clarity? How do we know where to put our time and energy? We love these answers, right? So after we learn these long-lasting solutions, we can feel energized, clear, focused. We're not going to waste time on other programs and other things that really don't help us. We need solutions today, right? If you're toast, you want solutions today. I want to work in my values. I want to feel enthused about what I'm doing, right? I want to feel heard. I want to feel nourished. I want to feel not hungry, angry, lonely, and tired, right? I want to feel motivated. Like, yeah, this is worth it. This is really important to me. I want to feel peace of mind. Like, oh, yes, I have a plan. I know what I'm doing. Somebody who went through my program said, oh, I feel like I'm going to get my mojo back. So yeah, that's the plan, right? I want you to connect with your own neural powers that are in you right now. And sometimes they're just on overwhelm, right? And we're going to change that, get some long-lasting solutions. So why me? Well, I'm a neuroimmunologist. I'm a business founder. I do consultant work with other businesses. I have 4 kids. These are pictures of some of them. I'm married. It's my husband, Bob. I just love to see people tap into their internal powers. I love to work on what's important to me, and I love to work on things that are not equitable. So one of my value is equity and ideation. So I love to learn new things. So I love to read business and AI and neurology and psychology, and just how can we tap into what we already know. So for some really powerful brain tools. So why not focus on what we do know about the brain? So a lot of people like to say the brain lies, the brain tricks you, the brain this. But what about the good things of the brain? How can we tap into what the brain needs and partner with it rather than just fighting it each day? Why not partner with it, right? So that's why I built a framework to help you walk through how to partner with your neural powers. So what is the reality of our situation? I work in medicine. So the reality is since 1974, they've been talking about burnout in medicine. That's a long time. I was just in grade school then. Some of you probably weren't even born then. So that's a long time talking about a problem that still exists and is only worsening lately. So what I want to focus on today is things that we can control. So go ahead and get your pencil out. I'll get some coffee. So what can you control today? Well, one thing is you're spending your time here today. You're learning. You're looking for some long-term solutions. Band-Aids are fine. I'm not so much into Band-Aids. I mean, they're fine when we need them. But why not learn some solutions we can start today that will have some long-lasting powers, right? So write down a few things you can control today. Well, one thing is what you're learning, who you're reading, who you hang out with. Where are you going to put your time and energy today? What are your plans today? Who have you gifted your time today? Because your time is a gift. So you look at that, and who are you gifting your time today? You're gifting it to me to be with me today, and I'm incredibly honored. Thank you for that. So what can you control today? Are you going to exercise today? You're going to sleep well? You're going to support your brain in any way? So what can we do today? So today we can learn something new. there's no judgment. There's only self-compassion. So the more we know about, more self-knowledge we have, the more self-compassion I'm hoping that we have, because we're wired to learn. We're wired to keep learning, to have that growth mindset. We're not done, but we can reset and start some new things, especially if they're long lasting, right? So I just like to call it synapse. So synapse with our neural powers. It will help us feel empowered. So it'll help us tap into the powers that live within our brain. So why not partner with our brain powers rather than fight it each day? So what can we do if we actually do tap into the powers of our neurobiology? We can enhance our creativity, our confidence, our clarity of where to put our time and energy. So why not do this, right? So this is something we try to do every day. So why not really delve into all the literature that shows us where to put our time and energy? Well, let's start with our creativity zone. How can we enhance that? All day long, we cycle through neural cycles. So we go from sympathetic, parasympathetic, sympathetic, parasympathetic. So one thing we can do to enhance our creativity, and we learn this in Synapse, is to fine tune that cycling through our neural cycles. As women, we're used to cycling, right? But we actually all day long cycle through different neural cycles: sympathetic, parasympathetic, sympathetic, parasympathetic. And there's things we can do to drive that. So we're in our sympathetic mode when we want to focus and get a job done. But we also in our parasympathetic when we want to relax, to chill, to have our big ideas, to increase our perception, to look around and to solve problems. So that's why we want to go between those cycles each day. And in Synapse, I'll teach you how to do that. We also want to think about enhancing our brain's cybersecurity. We want to think about our brain like our laptop, like our phone. We take care of that. We recharge it. We don't throw it in the water. We don't leave it in the shower so it gets wet. We don't take it swimming with us unless it's protected. So we take care of our laptop and our phones. We really want to think about what can we do for our brain because it makes us us, and what can we do each day to really enhance and take care of it, right? To think of it like cybersecurity, like this is absolute priority number one, right? And then we need more fun. So why more fun? Because fun is really good for the brain. Fun is a no judgment zone for the brain. Fun usually means we're connecting with other people. Generally, fun is shared with other people. Fun, there's no judgment. So that's a lovely place to be. And fun has no purposeful end. It's just to enjoy yourself. So that's all really great zones for the brain. So what are those 3 steps we can do again to try to stop feeling like toast? Okay. So we can rest our brain. We can kind of reset it. We can give it a hammock of support. So number 1 is I want you to think about it like a puppy. You need to water it, move it, walk it each day, give it healthy food, rest it. That is absolutely number 1. And we're going to talk about the power of connection. And then the emotional, what we can do to just get some emotional awareness and watch how that will change our perceptions in our day. So number 1, treating your brain like a puppy. I hope you can see this cute little picture. I'm going to move this just in case you can't. Well, I've had dogs for the last, 15 years. I've had Part-Newfie dogs. I've had, my current dog is maybe a German Shepherd Beagle mix. He's hilarious. But so dogs, when we look at them, and maybe you're a cat person, think of a cat, or maybe you're not an animal person, you're more a plant person. Think of a plant. Like you would never just leave a plant in the corner and expect it to do well, right? So if we expect our brain to do well, we need to take care of it, right? So we need to make sure we're well hydrated. I have my water right here. It's good to get a water bottle with just a straw sticking up so that even when you're working, you can just take a little sip, right? You need to feed it well. It needs whole foods. It needs, veggies and fruits and good proteins and carbs. The brain is always metabolically working. So 24/7, it's working. Even when you're resting, it's working. When you're sleeping, it's working. So it needs a lot of support nutritionally. So definitely make that a priority. Give it, good nutrition throughout the day. That's very hard as a person working in medicine. So we have to be intentional about it, right? So we have to have a system that's automated to give it good food. And if we need help with that, that's what we do in Synapse, is automate all of that. We need to walk it. Our puppy, we wouldn't think of just leaving it in a box the whole day, unless it's very small. But as it grows, it needs to walk. It behaves better if it's been exercised, right? If you've had a dog, you know it behaves better if you exercise it. I think, humans are very similar. And it needs rest. You would never ask a puppy to stay up all day. So it naps a lot, so that you need to remember that the brain needs care and support. So one way to do that is to get out a little index card. If you need a reminder this week, draw on your index card an oval, see it there, and a little heart in the middle. So this is your reminder this week to start your brain love plan. So the oval is thought to be the brain. The heart inside is to remind you that the emotions come from the brain. So if we want to know something about our emotions, or to, be able to encourage positive emotions, we have to realize that they do come from the brain. So we need to give the brain what it needs. So if you want a reminder, I like the pink. Color tends to turn on our dopamine and make it a little bit more exciting. So you can have a card like this, index card, draw an oval and then a little heart in the middle, and then leave this where you will see it all week. So that each day this week you say, oh, thanks, brain. A little gratitude for your brain also helps. And it will remind you to feed it and water it and make sure you get some good sleep and walk it. And then every decision this week, you want to think about your brain. Is it serving the brain? So if you say yes to something, does that leave you time to feed and water and rest and walk your brain this week? If you're too busy, then you say, oh no, that doesn't leave me any time to take care of my brain. So I'm sorry, I'm not able to do that. No is no. So no is a sentence. So if someone asks you to do something, it's fine to say, no, I can't, I don't, I'm already booked this week. I have enough on my plate, but thank you for considering me for that position or that committee or that activity this week. So this week, I want you to keep this close where you can see it, so that you can start your brain love plan, your brain support plan. Think of it like a hammock, so that you are considering your brain with each decision this week. Okay. So we are going to keep going. Now, what I have on my card is I have a little 3 corner, 1, 2, 3 in the corner, and that reminds me to list my emotions. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But each day you just list your emotions, so that you know kind of where you are emotionally. Emotional awareness is really key for healthy living, and we'll get into that a little bit. But let's talk about that sympathetic, parasympathetic, sympathetic, parasympathetic. All day long, we go through this cycle, neural cycles. So when are we high sympathetic? So that is like a typical day at work, right? So it's when something's important to us, when our outcomes or next events are uncertain, when someone's watching us or evaluating us, or when we think about any of those things. So most of our day, if you're a working person, or even if you're home busy, a lot of those things are a part of our sympathetic activation is most of our day. So that's where we purposefully have to learn how to activate our parasympathetic side of us, right? So in medicine, we have a lot of challenges throughout the day. So our sympathetic system is usually pretty high throughout the day. Women in medicine, we're trying to achieve leadership positions, but there's challenges because the data shows we're not hitting the levels that we should because of gender inequity within the system. We're not achieving the budgetary power. So if we rule the budgets, then we can have some influence on where the budget goes and then how others are treated, and the plans, right? So if we're not involved in the budgeting, then we don't actually have the power. And how do we get those promotions in academic medicine? That's a challenge that women in medicine face. Salary inequity, yet another survey came out, the women are still, not paid like the men. In 2022 it is. And then a lot of people feel professionally very isolated. They don't feel heard, seen, validated. They don't feel known. They don't feel like people know them as a person, what's important to them, what their values are. A lot of people are feeling like they're bullied at work, that there's not safe behavior going on, not kind behavior going on, or they don't feel recognized. And there's very high rates of attrition and burnout happening to women in medicine. This data is from AAMC, looking at data from 2009 to 2018. And all of these lines are pretty flat. And these lines are looking at academic promotion. So how somebody goes from the first level of professor whether it be like instructor, how they get to assistant, and then associate, and then full professor. Well, all the lines are pretty flat over all of these years. So there's not a lot of gains. So women are working hard and not being acknowledged and not being validated on their professorship level. The next thing we have to value when we're talking about partnering with our brain powers is actually supporting the brain, right? So thinking of it like cybersecurity. How protective are we of the brain? We absolutely will address that in Synapse because this is imperative, right? So the brain, there's ways we can protect it so that it keeps us with our ability to see and hear and talk and work and take care of others, right? So what's our second step in our 3-step no more toast plan? Well, when we're thinking about building a brain hammock of support, the thing that has to be there are friends and connections. So really, there's so much value in just a quick interaction throughout the day, even if it's a colleague that you don't know well, but you say, how you doing? How's the family? How'd that project go? How'd your grand rounds go? Those quick interactions. I mean, during COVID lockdown, the 100% lockdown, I realized the value of those. I really miss just kind of bumping into people and saying, hey, how's it going? And those quick connections. Well, those are incredibly important for our neurobiology. Again, to balance our neural cycles, it really helps us connect and feel heard and seen. So connecting with a friend, we have to be very intentional. How do we connect with others? More than a text. So we need to actually see people and connect with them. So put that on your step today. So if you have your card in your upper right-hand corner here, I'll go back a second, just write the name of the person that you're going to connect with this week. And it has to be more than a text. So a call or a walk or a coffee at work, a lunch at work, after work fun, whatever it is, because that fun or that connection, that time with other people, that's a great time for our neurobiology. It relaxes us. That's a high parasympathetic time because it's not a judgment time. And we need that connection with other humans. So definitely put this in your plan this week because that will help you get out of that toast feeling. So I want to tell you about this foundation. It's called Dr. Lorna Breen Foundation. This comes from a very sad story where Dr. Lorna Breen took her life. She was an emergency room doctor. What this story brings up are many issues, including the fact that some healthcare workers are unable to even get the mental health care that they need because there's some barriers there, including the licensing and malpractice, because if you say you got mental health care, sometimes that dings you on some of those. And so this foundation is here to support projects and programs with actual finances that actually it just got approved and signed. And so the money is now going to go ahead. $140 million is going ahead from the federal government to support healthcare workers, programs funding healthcare workers. So it's wonderful news and amazing power that this foundation has done, and it's gotten through the House and the Senate, and now the money was just able to be shared with these institutions that are going to do more projects to support healthcare workers. So it's a wonderful, amazing example of people coming together and trying to solve a problem and tapping into federal resources to do so. This is referring to a project from Nathan et al. That was published in 2021, looking at some wellness training, 6 hours of wellness training for residents. And there was also text messages trying to support them with some wellness behaviors. So it was stress management and resiliency training. And the result was they stabilized burnout rates. But really, I hope for more. I have designed a residency support program with Allie Hively. So if you want some information about that, reach out. But these residents are working hard. They're working amazing hours. They're staying up all night, caring for so many people, birthing babies, helping people at either stage of life and in the middle. And they need a lot of support. So, this is why it's so important to build that brain support plan, like your own brain hammock, so that you feel well supported and your brain can keep doing its amazing work, right? So the AAMC in 2021 reported on the wellness initiatives in healthcare. And it did show that up to 50% of institutions do have some kind of wellness programming at their institution. And they even have well-being champions. But unfortunately, most of those well-being champions didn't have any training or funding to go ahead and put any programs into place. So we really have a high need for accessible, impactful, funded training for our residents and our staff that's ready to go right now. And that's where that Dr. Lorna Breen coming together is just amazing, right? So the more people come together, put their minds and hearts and money together, then things can happen. So when women come together, we also tend to support each other, help each other through illnesses. I'm thinking of a colleague that's going through breast cancer treatment right now. We just do whatever we can to reach out and find resources. So how does your network support you today? Write that down on your piece of paper. So women tend to support each other, right? We tend to lift up families and friends and communities and volunteer. We tend to be very, very busy supporting other people. But I want you to make sure you have that hammock in place for your own brain. Coffee time. So how does your network support you? And if you're new, you just moved, or you're at a new job, and you're not sure, you haven't met a lot of people yet, you want to think about this and be intentional about who can you put in your network to support you, because people are part of our hammock of support, right? People we know, they provide support for us. And what do we know about even changing? So we say, oh, I want to take that step. I'm toast. I want to know what to do next, but I'm just toast. I don't really have it in me. Well, what's been learned over the years is that if we combine emotional intelligence, so we learn something about emotions and skill building together, we call it emotional intelligence, you will see more long sustained change and sustained improvement compared to those that just build skills. So if we don't talk about emotion, emotional intelligence, et cetera, we're not going to see that long sustained improvement. And that's been proven, especially in folks already. I love this study because it's on 45 to 55-year-olds. This study that was done in 1999 by Ballou et al. It looked at how do you see sustained change in older people or adults. And it was very important to build the emotional intelligence. So that was self-confidence, goal setting, and then you could add that into leadership skills. But if you didn't work on what matters for what we call maybe mindset, you may say, my mindset, they call it quote unquote soft skills. They're not soft skills, because without this, you're just not really going to be able to see some long lasting solutions. So back to our creative zone, if we really want to tap into that, we have to learn how to fine tune our neural cycles, how to enhance our brain's cyber security, just treat it like a gem that it is, right? And then add more fun. You got to have the fun. Why? Because fun is a wonderful state of the brain. So in State Apps, we're going to go over this, how to empower your neurobiology. So once you learn some things about why it's important to put your time and energy, you can build those long-lasting solutions. Okay. So why? Because women in medicine, we're doing great things. So the studies show that we have very positive outcomes. You're working so hard and you're doing amazing things. Women physicians tend to use more patient-centered communications. They tend to spend more time with their patients. They build a partnership more often with their patients. So patients are more willing to, again, take a new step themselves. They're more likely to adhere to clinical guidelines so that you're actually screening patients and doing that cancer prevention work, more psychosocial counseling so that the patients feel heard and seen and actually do move ahead with the suggestions. So it's not that all this hard work is going unnoticed. Women in medicine are doing amazing things. But what about you yourself? Do you need support yourself? Right? So that's what we have to talk about. And that's what I want to do, is to help you tap into those internal powers that you have to feel the creativity, the confidence, the clarity, rather than the toast, right? So what about your climate? Do you feel like your climate actually supports your growth? Have you had anyone say, hey, I'd love for you to take this course because I see that you're doing X, Y, and Z, and I want you to keep growing in that area. Or I see you're really interested in this. I want to have you meet this person so you can learn about X, Y, and Z. Do you feel that in your environment? And if you don't, it's fine. It's important then to find people that have that growth mindset and put them around you, right? So within Synapse, I build a community of people that we hang together and do that together, right? And there's nothing wrong if you need to build some new skills, right? This is just a scientific principle called entropy, right? So this is a quote from Dr. Boyatzis. He's at Weatherhead in Cleveland, Ohio. He has some wonderful books. I would look him up. So he says things can drift into less desirable states. And that's just a scientific principle. If you ever took physics, you hear about entropy, right? So things get disorganized. It just happens. So there's nothing wrong. There's no judgment. We just have to notice that it's happening and we could take that first step, right? So we could take the first step even when we don't see the whole staircase. We don't know where that first step is going to take us. If we're toast and we say, I don't have a lot of energy, but I'm going to take one step. I'm going to go into Synapse. I'm going to learn something new. That's okay. You don't know where you're going to end up, but I will tell you, a lot of my people have gone through Synapse. They have taken new jobs. They've done new things because they see like, yeah, it's worth taking a new step. They feel empowered, right? It's a great way to feel. So when we don't take these new steps or learn about our neurobiology, we stay stressed, right? If we don't have the confidence and the clarity of how our neurobiology works, we stay confused as to what to do. And if we don't have, if we don't tap into our neurobiology, we just stay stuck. We don't have the clarity of the next step. So this is what I hear from a lot of women in medicine. I don't have any time to do one more thing. No way. I'm toast. I'm stuck. I'm absolutely overcommitted. That's fine. But why not tap into the power of your neurobiology and learn how to partner with it rather than saying, I'm done. I filled it up to the max, because it can learn. It just has to be in the learning state, right? It has to be in that hammock of support to be in that learning state. So what do you need to do today to get the results that you actually desire? Probably just one step, right? You don't have to do a lot, right? So the third step in our 3-step plan to stop feeling like toast is to write those 3 emotions down so you can get your card. You have a plan already to treat your brain like a puppy or a plant or a kitten. You're going to connect with your friends. So I wrote my friend Trish. So I have a plan to connect with her. And then you have 3 steps here. No, 1, 2, 3. So write down 3 emotions a day. Okay. I know that seems like a tall order to write an emotion down because you think you have to do something with it, but you don't. Because what happens with an emotion is the brain creates it and then our body feels it. So the brain pumps out some neurochemical. We feel it throughout the body and then it stops, right? Because it gets pumped through the body. It's a chemical. It's not going to last forever. Now, there may be persistent emotions. The brain might keep pumping out the same neurochemicals. You might keep feeling the same emotions, but not always. A lot of times it'll change. So at one moment, you feel happiness. Next moment, you might feel sadness. Next moment, or maybe even at the same moment, you have 10 conflicting emotions. No judgment. Emotions come, they're the chemicals being pumped out, and you feel them in your body. Okay, so you just have to acknowledge them. Say, hello, emotions. I see you. I feel you. I know you're going to change in a bit. And this, again, if you need a professional to help you with this, please do. Please get a therapist, primary care doctor, psychiatrist if necessary, a coach. Those are all wonderful support systems. Please get those things. This is just education. Okay. It's really great to tap into professional powers too. They can help you so much with this stuff. But a lot of times people say like emotions are kind of opening a closet with too much stuff in it. I might have some of those closets in my house. And you just don't even want to go in there. This is a no judgment, all compassion zone. Okay. Start writing down emotions. You're probably going to see that your emotions vary with maybe your energy state. So if you're tired, you're going to have more negative emotions. If you're hungry, you might have more negative emotions. I for sure see that throughout my day. So every day, write down 3 emotions on your card, and you don't have to do anything with them. You're just seeing them. You're just observing. Okay. So your 3 steps to stop feeling like toast: get your index card, preferably a pretty color. Number 1, draw the brain with a heart in the middle, because that's where the emotions come from, the brain. Number 2, write down who you're going to connect with. And then 3, 1, 2, 3, your 3 emotions a day, and they're going to change each day. But once you start getting that emotional awareness, you're going to see like, oh yeah, you're going to stop judging them, because emotions just come and go. You're going to stop judging them. You're going to learn how to just, oh yeah, this is fine. This is called our brain love plan, right? So that when we have emotional awareness, it's really the key to successful living. We just have to be aware. Notice the word aware, not fix. Just have to be aware of the emotions. And some days we spend a lot of times trying to change them. We don't have to change them. We just have to be aware of them. I love to write my emotions each day, like on a scrap piece of paper, throw it away. It just shows me like, this is how important that emotion is at that minute, or write it on like junk mail, 3 emotions, get it out of me and throw it away, right? They change with time. But, literature suggests that emotional awareness is the key to successful living because we don't have to fix them. We just have to realize them. Got it? You got this, guys. Okay, so your card this week, draw your brain, a heart in the middle. Who you're going to connect with, the friend this week, your 3 emotions. And then any decision this week, remember, you're going to say, like, does that leave me time to take care of my brain? Like a puppy. Does it leave me time to drink my water, to feed it healthy food, to rest it, to get good 8 hours, 8 hours of sleep every night? Does it leave you that time? If not, the answer is no, I can't do that. No is a sentence, right? And make sure you have call your friend on the list. Got it, guys? This is your no toast plan. So what can we do today? Don't we want to feel like we're laying in some beautiful hammock in the islands? What if we did that for our brain? Just honor our brain, give our brain the kudos that it deserves, support. So if we don't do this, we stay stressed, confused, stuck. But what do we need to do today? What do you need to do today to get the results that you desire? So today, what I promised is I was going to help you tap into your internal powers to reset and support your amazing brain today. We're not going to wait for the system to see us and hear us and value us and acknowledge us and to know our skills and to know our dreams. We're going to take care of that, right? I'm going to show you that framework to tap into our neuroscience powers. And we can learn, we can empower our own creativity, confidence, clarity, right? We got this. So next steps. So you have a choice today. You have a choice. You can take action or you can maintain the status quo, either way. So this is your choice today, your choice. Sometimes we think it's someone else's choice, but today really it's your choice. So I want you to just kind of preview my brain-based time management plan. I want you to just to learn about it and know it's here for you. It can be one of those long-lasting solutions that you were looking for to save you time so you don't have to stop looking. Start the solutions. We talk about what we've already talked about. You already have your 3-step, no toast plan. But this is going into more detail so you can really tap into the neuroscience and the neuropowers. It's a 3-month support system. I do it with you. I'm along with you. We have a community. I start at the top of every month, so you can jump in the top of every month. There's also an online community there, so we can share our own resources. We have weekly challenges, so we actually start doing these things rather than just buy it, sit there, and never do anything with it. Who's done that? This is different. So I want you to have your weekly challenges so that we can work on them together and figure them out just a little bit at a time, one step. Remember, just like that staircase, just one step at a time. We have to acknowledge that we are lifelong learners and we support learners. But guess what? Learning is scary because it's new for us, right? So the brain says, oh, stop. I don't want anything new. No, that's too scary. That's your brain protecting itself. That's fine. So thank you, brain. But I'm going to move on. I'm going to learn a long-lasting solution. And I'm going to do it with a community because we know we learn better when we do it together. So if you say yes to this, you might be feeling kind of scared or wondering if you should say yes to this, and that's fine because that's your brain saying you have enough on your plate. You have enough. Don't do any more. It's fine. But this is why we also do group coaching in this program, so that again we can get together and we can figure this out. So what do we value here? We value effort and persistent, not the end goal. We're not after one thing, but we're after supporting our brain, giving it that hammock, giving it the support, give it that love plan, so that you can just empower all those talents that you have there. Because sometimes it's just the brain is toast. It needs that hammock to rest in, right? So come on in to Synapse. You can check it out like this. This is what it'll look like when you click on it. And you can check it out, see what you think, and you go through, it's all online, it's digital, you can do it at your own time. This is again what it'll look like. You hit on the bottom, enroll in the course, and then you get a link and you're in. So you're all rock stars, you know, pat yourself on the back. You're doing amazing things. I mean, look at those outcomes of women in medicine and women in other careers. You're doing amazing things. I'm just here to support you. I want to think of you I want you to think of me as like just a hammock of support, so that you can keep doing amazing things in a climate with many challenges for busy women, many challenges. So if you attended this all the way to the end, look at you. So I'm glad to send you a video of the top 10 ways to increase joy in the clinic through brain powers. And I'm glad to give you a deal on Synapse, so just DM me. But I appreciate your time. Okay, so a lot of people have these questions. Can you do this course on your own time? Yeah, it's digital, so you can tap in when you have a little time. You have it for 3 months, so you can work through all those weekly challenges and really get a long-lasting solution plan in place. So that's the framework, so that it's long-lasting. I don't want you to have a Band-Aid. I want you to have something that you can use forever. Yes, you could save it on your phone. There's a way to kind of make its own widget so you can save it. And yes, it's a private community, so you can learn from others, absolutely. And yes, there's live events. You don't have to talk or put your camera on if you don't want to. You can attend them if you want. But you know, we're there so that we can share resources. And then I'm glad to send a link after this, after you watch the video. Just reach out. So here's a quote I love. It's from Nelson Mandela. May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. Our brain can lead with fear sometimes. That's when we're in our toast zone. It's not our optimal state of our brain. But if we can get to hope, first we have to support the brain, right? So we have to give it that hammock so that it feels supported. And then it can get to the state where your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. So I wish you well. Feel free to reach out. I'm glad to review Synapse with you and answer any of your questions. But I'll see you in there. It's really fun and we have a great time and we learn how to support each other. Okay, you got this, guys. Reach out. Stay well.